We're talking today with our new amateur historian here on Veterans Radio, Joe Neussendorfer. Joe, welcome to Veterans Radio, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Jim. I have been a historian for 50 years. I've written hundreds of history articles on various subjects, curated local history exhibits, and lectured on such subjects as architecture, engineering, surveying, and early Native Americans. My interest in military slang stems from my service as a U.S. Air Force veteran and a keen interest in specialized subculture language and professional experience in communicating technical information.
Joe, what military slang term are you going to explain to us today?
Today's term is sort of interesting. It's called a cup of Joe, which commonly describes a cup of coffee. There is a great body of historical information pointing to a military origin for this term. As the story goes, the phrase has been in wider use since World War I, and that the original term, coined by sailors in the U.S. Navy, was actually a cup of Joseph Daniels. It was meant by Swabbies as an insult to leadership. Over time, it became simply a cup of Joe. Josephus Daniels was secretary to the U.S. Navy under President Woodrow Wilson. Looking to impose stricter moral standards on naval life, he made changes in 1914, like increasing the number of chaplains, cracking down on prostitution at naval bases, and banning alcohol. In his biography of Daniels, author Lee A. Craig explains how this last decision led to the creation of the slang term as a substitute. Stewards increased their purchase of coffee, among other beverages, writes Craig in his book, Josephus Daniels, His Life and Times. This term's origin, crediting Daniels, has its detractors amongst some historians who have a theory that coffee became known as Joe because Joe itself is a slang term for a common fellow guy or chap. So this common Joe leaves it up to you to do further research with your friends over a cup of Joe.
Hey, thanks, Joe. And I think that I'm going to go get a cup of coffee, and I think I think we all learned to drink that, hot, black, awful coffee somewhere in the military. So
Absolutely.
thanks for giving us a little history lesson today.
You bet.
Like what you heard? Listen to this full episode and more on the Apple Podcasts app, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. And now streaming on Amazon Music, Audible, and Spotify.